Let's take those stalls of yours from meh to magnificent. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, and I'm going to share with you guys the best tips I've encountered over the years for getting your poi stalls super clean. It's pretty normal when you're starting out to find that your poi's still swinging at the end of the stall, or worse, the poi just keep on spinning. I'm going to show you how you can clean up those stalls in any position. Make sure to hit that subscribe and notification button so you know exactly when I drop a new video. Before we dive in, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Darkmonk, Emazing Lights, Flowtoys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can visit them all on the web by following the links down in the description of this video. Stalls are one of the most important poi tricks out there. They help you transition between tricks, change the direction of the poi, and just look really darn cool however you slice it. They can also be a huge challenge to learn. Those flexible poi have a lot of momentum as you're spinning them, and getting it to stop can be really frustrating. But fear not, I've got a couple great tips to get you there and an exercise that will level up your stall game in no time. Tip number 1, learn the box. If you see my tutorials on stalls, you know that I've got a way of visualizing stalls that involves thinking of the poi as having a box around it. The general idea is this: as you're spinning the poi, it traces out a circle. If we imagine a box around that circle, then the points where we stall our poi to are the corners of the box. Wait, what? How do we get from a circle to a box? Let me explain. See how there are 4 points where the circle touches the box? As the poi passes through one of those points, you slide your hand straight out to that intersection. The poi will move along the edge of the box until it comes to the corner. At this point, the hand has now reached the intersection between the circle and the box, and something magical happens. The poi stops completely. This pattern holds true whether you're stalling down, up, at the top, or bottom of the box. But why does that work? Probably oversimplified explanation. As we spin the poi, we're applying just enough energy to the poi to fight the pull of gravity and then get it up in the air, only to let gravity pull it back down. When we shift the poi to moving in a straight line instead of around a circle, we're robbing it of this momentum, and it turns out it only needs to travel the length of the poi itself to run out of that momentum. It's totally weird, but you're looking for the intersection of the box and the circle, no matter which corner you're trying to stall to. The trick here is that the intersection is always just a little bit later than you think it is, but not so late that the stall becomes impossible. For bottom stalls, this tends to be pretty intuitive. You're really just pitching the poi out to either side. For down stalls, I usually think of hitting the intersection right as I feel gravity begin to tug at the poi head. For up stalls, it happens right as I start to pull the poi head over towards me. You just slide your hand under the poi head instead. For top stalls, it can take a little bit of work to find the ideal spot to start moving your hand. If the poi just falls when you try, start the stall just a little bit earlier. If you wind up with something more like an up stall, start the stall just a little bit later. One huge tip a friend once gave me for learning up stalls is to try and get the hand about a half an inch above the poi head and off to the side. It happens so quickly and is so close to being a horizontal line that your audience won't pick up on the fact that it's not perfectly flat. Pro tip, it'll also buy you an extra half second of hang time, so you can do stalls that seem to defy gravity. Tip number 2, practice with super light poi. This is a tip I got from Chris Rovo way back in the day, and it's based on figuring out what makes stalls easier, and deliberately doing the opposite. Let me explain. There are 2 things that make stalls easier to perform and cleaner: shorter tethers and heavier heads. Shorter tethers make for a smaller area you have to change the momentum for. The longer the tethers, the greater an area you have to work over in order to get the poi to stop moving. Likewise, heavier heads, while requiring more energy to keep spinning, also require less energy to stop them from spinning. So to drill his stalls, Chris came up with a rather novel solution: spin with very light poi with longer tethers. I'll do this sometimes with a pair of Spinballs poi. They're made for little kids, so they tend to be incredibly light. I'll drill performing stalls in each of the corners of the box, and most of the time it will require a lot of effort. But once you can stall a set of poi that is light and has a longer tether, when you switch over to stalling poi that are either heavier or have shorter tethers, or both, you're going to find that your stalls are crisp, sharp, and clean as can be. Tip number 3, putting it all together. So let's say you've learned how to do your stalls and you've got them reasonably clean. Now what? It's time to drill them with timing and direction. Work to get all 4 stalls and all the timing and direction combinations to really master using them in any context. Start with together same. In most cases, your hands can run on autopilot to keep the poi working reasonably well together. Work through each corner one by one. Then work on together opposite. It'll require a bit of an adjustment for your hands to do stalls in opposite sides of the body at the same time, but work through each corner one by one, just like you did with Together Same. It will come to make sense. Next, you can try split time opposites. A lot of these stalls actually look so cool in and of themselves that you can think of them as being almost moves in their own right. In particular, up and down stalls meeting together look super cool. Finally, split time same direction is going to require you to always have each hand performing the opposite stall to the other hand. There are lots of transition opportunities out there for these stalls, however, especially the up and down stalls out to the sides. Cool, now go out there and make some beautiful stalls. If you'd like lessons on stalls and many other basic poi tricks delivered right to your email inbox, head on over to my website at drexfactor.com and sign up for my Spin Poi Like a Rockstar course. Learn at your own pace and for free. Thanks so much for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please hit that like and subscribe button to help my channel grow. Special thanks to all of my awesome supporters on Patreon. You guys are the ones that make these videos possible. If you're not a current backer and would like to sign up to support the work that I do, please head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. Thanks again, and peace.